Okay, so what was memorable to me about this play was just the fact that how relatable it was. Stood out, like it was different than anything else we've read so far. Um, and the fact that it incorporated social media, which was something new as well. Like this hasn't, it's a very modern thing, so it was kind of cool to read a play dealing with social media, so modern. One theme I saw in the play was like the idea of being blind to situations, like how their parents were saying, "Oh, my kid's a good kid. They would never do that." And also the ideas that girls ask for it, like when people say girls dress provocatively, and how everyone. This is like an example of this is when everyone's saying how Chloe was too drunk and calling her a slut and basically saying that was all her fault. Um, and then another theme was kind of going back to social media and like its effects on what it has in today's society. And like this play obviously demonstrates, like the negative effects that it has. Um, so one difference between Good Kids and In Apparel was that, as I mentioned earlier, Good Kids is very relatable. Intimate Apparel isn't really relatable, especially to college kids, I guess, like youth. Because Good Kids uses, a younger cast, which involves social media, which is more relatable to our generation. Um, Also, the different scenes in Good Kids is very different just because there's so many. And then in Intimate Apparel, there's only two acts. So this kind of breaks up, the play and allows for your attention, to stay focused and not drift away because things are constantly changing. Um, and then lastly, the number of characters in Good Kids is, exceeds more than in Intimate Apparel, um, which could potentially be a bad thing just because, so many characters, you could get them all mixed up and could get confusing. And unlike Intimate Apparel, there's those set main characters. Um, Question four, I think gender bias is definitely prevalent in the play. As I mentioned earlier, the blame immediately went to Chloe and not the boys, which is still an issue today. Blaming girls for how they dress and saying they're asking for it and not blaming, the actual violator and their actions. And then my two questions are, if social media didn't exist, how would this play be different? And do you think the play would be different if the characters were college students instead of high schoolers?